with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I've had a little bit of a free day today, and I went on a big walk, like a 3 hour walk today, just fucking wandering here, wandering there. And I think Barcelona and Spain in general have really got the mix right. I don't know exactly how hard it is to live here and the daily struggle of the people, but I was looking in cafes and tapas bars and cerveceterias, or whatever they're called, bars. And it seems like even if you are on the lower rung of society, and it's really hard to tell the difference here. I suppose the white Spanish Europeans, the higher, and there's like a lot of South Americans and shit here as well. I think they can get visas here because they're old colonies. Anyway, you just have a look around and there's a place for everyone. There's a place for anyone to get a fucking cheap sandwich, a delicious cheap sandwich like €1.50 or €2, maybe €3, and a cup of coffee like $1.50 and a glass of beer. And that's really all you need. And that's what the people here are doing. They're smoking darts. So many people smoke darts here. It's insane. The women, who are gorgeous, by the way, but the women here are darting harder than I've seen most women in the world. They just walk out, spark a does, and they're on their way. It's kind of hot, but it's not a long-term plan. But it seems like everyone here, despite your income or your wealth, you can live a rich life. And I don't mean wealthy. I mean like a rich, vibrant social life. You can have some good food. You can walk the streets, which are vibrant. You can get some fucking CBD oil, which I got CBG extract today on my walk, so I'll have that at some point. But you know what I mean? And apparently they've had like a huge influx of North Africans and all sorts of people. And you really don't see it that much. I think there's areas where you see it, but there's very little homelessness here. Like you go to other major cities, and I'm talking about you, America. LA is fucked. And so's New York, but fucking LA is the worst. Canada wasn't too great either. I'm talking about you, fucking Hastings Street, Vancouver. But you just don't see it here. Even though I know the wages and shit here are fucking dog shit. But it just seems like no one is under like intense strain. There's no sort of despair here. Well, at least I'm not seeing some. And usually if you walk 3 hours around a city, you'll see some pockets of despair. I mean, I was on the metro the other day and there was some African dudes selling like purses out of bed sheets. I don't know where they go at night, but I assume they're sleeping all right. So it just seems like whatever they're doing in Spain is working. I don't even know if it's like I don't even know what the economy here is like. My mate Sammy said it's not too bad now. A lot of big companies have moved in. The wages are going up and it's getting a little bit better, but I don't know. It seems good. It just seems like a better way of life. It doesn't have that fucking dog eat dog vibe to it. There's something a little bit more communal about it. And I'm sure it has its problems. I mean, fucking, they had the fascists in here at one point, and I don't know anything about the history of the Catalonians or the Catalans. And apparently there's another people, the Barks or something. My mate was telling me there's this other people, and they've got no idea where they originated from, but they've been in I think it's the northern part of Spain for like 1,000 or a couple of thousand years. And apparently they've had a pretty rough time of it. But you know, it's just fucking nice out here. Anyway, I didn't have time yesterday to do an Ask Boyle because I was still flustered from my nightmare bike rides. So we're going to do it today. It's Ask Boyle time. So if you have a question you would like answered by one of the greatest minds of the generation or any generation, comedian, philosopher, waterproofer, crane operator, El Boyale, then head to my website, boylecomedy.com. There's a section there for Ask Boyle. Ask away. Also, fucking red alert. We need some more stories. Let's get some fucked up Friday stories in. So while you're there asking a question, fucking bang up a story and I'll get to it pretty fucking quickly. Anyway, let's get to this week's Ask Boyle. So this week's Ask Boiler wants to remain anonymous. I won't even say what country he's in, even though it's going to be pretty obvious. So here it is. He's named it First Love Syndrome. I loved a girl in college and we were off and on for 5 years. She was the first woman I truly ever loved. We broke it off finally about a year after college. We almost got back together twice in the next 2 years, but it never worked out. I've tried hard to move on with my life. I've actually lived a successful and full life since we broke up. Traveled to over 30 countries and been a part of multiple six-figure business deals. Fucking lasso me onto the end of one of those, please. I've had 2 serious relationships, one of which I'm in right now since my college girlfriend. But I can honestly say that I never stopped being in love with my college girlfriend. I dream about her most nights and I think about her every day. I can only love my current girlfriend, who is an amazing person. She's beautiful and an actual doctor with like 50% of my energy because I'm still wishing that my college girlfriend was here. I reached out to my college girlfriend last month, tried to get her on the phone, but ended up just expressing how I felt about her via text. She said that she did not have the same feelings and eventually ghosted me. What would be your advice for putting first love syndrome behind you? It's been 6 years since the breakup and I think about her all the time and it's detrimental to my overall happiness. Well, lovesick puppy, you have come to the right place. For starters, reaching out to her and confessing your undying love to her via text is wild. That is a wild move. That is a panicky, I need to get something done move. Anyway, that doesn't help you at all, does it? Okay, so let's have a look. Let's get to the bottom of this. What's going on here? Because at the start you say we were on and off for 5 years. That doesn't sound like true love. And that's during college as well. So obviously you were banging chicks in between. It feels like maybe you have made her like the symbol of the greatest time of your life, which would have been college. And whenever you get nostalgic for the past, she's the symbol you use. And you convince yourself that you loved her intensely, where what you really loved was that period of time. Now, that's some fucking therapy there. So, how long ago was it? So, you were on and off for 5 years. Then you broke it off a year after college. And then for 2 years, you almost got back together. This is what happened to me when I was younger. I had like a one night stand with a girl at university, and then that ended up becoming a relationship of sorts, an on and off sort of relationship. And the longer that dragged out, the more I convinced myself she's the one, until I was like, no, definitely not. But I don't think, and even though you're telling me and you would probably argue it vehemently, I'm not sold that you're actually in love with this girl. I think you're in love with something else. Or the girls that you've been with since her, you've been with them because they tick some sort of box, or the boxes like your current girlfriend's a doctor, but you don't have that like passionate love for them. And you feel like you should, but you just don't. This would be my advice because my sense is that you were in love with the time more than the girl. And you need to fall in love with the present or the future. And you say you've had some great times afterwards. You've gone to 30 different countries, blah, 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 business deals, whatever. How much of that was motivated in some way by her? Like trying to make her jealous, or the character of her you have in your head, or trying to get over her? You know what I mean? Like, are you really living in the moment? Are you really putting the past behind you and trying to create a better time in the present and the future? I should have had some CBG before I went on this. So there's that. And there's also the possibility that you are just not ready to settle down and you've created a love that probably may have been there, or some seeds of that type of love. But over time, you've greatly embellished what it actually was as a kind of excuse not to fully commit to anyone in the present or the future. You know what I mean? Like, is your love for this girl a psychological trick you're using to not fully commit to your current present life? Like, there could be a few things going on here, but Boyle's diagnosis is you're not really in love with this girl. You've made her into some sort of fictitious ideal and you're using it for other purposes. Now, you need to figure out why you would be using her as maybe a scapegoat for other things. Now, that's not up to me. That is not up to me to figure out. That's on you. Respect that you've reached out to her, though. That's ballsy. That's really ballsy. Anyway, I've given you enough there to fucking ponder on. There's enough there to think about. I've seen heaps of people fucking pretend they're still in love with their ex when they didn't even fucking love them in the first place. So it feels like it could be the case. Now you just need to figure out why. Anyway, thanks for the question. That'll do for today, and I'll see ya the fuck later.